Do you feel guilty about not spending enough time playing with your cat? Science tells us they need around 60 minutes of daily play for good health, but with busy schedules, finding time can feel impossible. And since cats are crepuscular, meaning the most active at both dawn and dusk, timing can be tricky. In this video, I'll share 8 cheat codes. By the end, even as a busy cat parent, you'll be able to use these to entertain your cat and keep them happy and healthy. Now here's what we've got coming up. Ever notice your cat gets bored of toys quicker than you expected? It's not that they've lost interest in play. Cats are naturally neophiliacs, meaning they're always on the hunt for something new. We've covered this in detail in a previous video, so we won't go too deep here. In short, you can overcome toy fatigue by simply rotating your cat's toys, making old toys seem new, which will maximize engagement and make achieving those 60 minutes even easier. You know that moment when your cat suddenly zips across the room like a little furry tornado? That's not just your cat being extra dramatic, it's actually called locomotor play, and it's super important. By providing plenty of climbing spaces, tunnels, cat tree shelves, or even setting up an obstacle course, you're giving them an outlet for locomotor play. This outlet becomes another way to keep them entertained with little effort, whilst also ensuring they work on their cardio and burn off a little bit of mischief. Now, we've recently spent a small fortune on these to turn our stairs into a big climbing frame. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our cat's reaction to that one. And here's our third solution. It's kind of like driving to work. Weird, right? But stick with me. So you're driving to work. You've done it many times before. You've got your favourite radio station on, and before you know it, you're there. Along the way, you've made countless tiny automatic decisions, yet it felt effortless. How is that possible? In his best-selling book, Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman offers an explanation which we could also apply to cat playtime. He explains that our brains use 2 types of thinking. Type 1 is fast, automatic and intuitive, whereas type 2 is slower, more deliberate and requires effort. Our brains prefer type 1 thinking because type 2 consumes a lot more energy. For example, driving relies mostly on type 1, but when someone cuts you up, you quickly switch to type 2, analysing the situation and wondering what might have been. Now, since type 2 requires significantly more effort, we want to make sure that cat playtime is a type 1 process. So how do we do this? Habits and routines allow us to move thinking from type 2 to type 1. Therefore, by making playtime a habit, we can make it seem automatic and effortless. That's cool, right? Interestingly, researchers identified that cats actually prefer short bursts of play. This means that we can break those 60 minutes into smaller chunks and attach them to various habits throughout our day, like say when the dinner's cooking, the tea's brewing, or right before bedtime. Who said we can't multitask, eh? Don't forget to like the video if you find this interesting. We've still got this and this coming up.
For our 4th cheat code, we need to address a common misconception. Ever heard people say cats are solitary animals? In reality, that belief just makes life harder for both us and our cats. According to a report from cats.org.uk, the average number of cats per household is 1.5, and 67% of cat owners only have 1 cat. I'm curious who got that half cat. Even though most think cats are loners, recent studies show they're actually social creatures, especially with other litter mates. In fact, this study highlights they even have unique vocalizations just for communicating with one another. For busy cat parents, this social nature can be a real game changer. Now, if you already have a cat, and especially if they're older, I'd urge caution before introducing a new cat. However, if you want to, Blue Cross or VCA offer great advice. I'll pop the links in the articles in the video description. But if you're adopting kittens, getting them in pairs is key. Studies show that families who adopt 2 kittens are more likely to keep them long term, compared to adopting just 1. Kittens, especially early on, need much more than 60 minutes of playtime a day, and if left alone, they may develop behaviour or health issues. By adopting 2 or more littermates or similar aged kittens, not only are you giving them a lifelong companion, but their playtime contributes to that 60 minutes playtime target.
Outdoor time is amazing at engaging cats, but what about the worry of traffic or predators? Now, there could be a solution. Just like designing a patio or you garden yourself, a catio provides your cat with lounging spots, climbing towers and fresh air, all within the safety of an enclosure. But before you jump in, there are a few things to consider. First, you'll need to decide whether to DIY or to buy a pre-made catio. DIY options are budget-friendly and customizable, but may not be as durable. Pre-made versions come in all sizes, from window boxes to large enclosures with tunnels and perches, but can be more expensive. Next, consider the type. Catios attached to your home offer easy access, while freestanding ones offer more space but require the collection and drop-off of your cat. Whichever style you choose, always prioritise vertical space for cats to climb in. Key tips: use strong and rust-resistant materials like galvanised steel for durability, add locks for security, and make sure the floor is dig-proof and ensure there are both sunny and shaded areas for comfort. Sprinkle in cat-safe plants and toys for enrichment, and if you've already built a catio, let us and fellow viewers know of any additional tips and tricks you'd recommend. A catio keeps your cat entertained and enriched whilst you go about your day. No need for constant supervision. The real question is though, who's really living the dream? You or your cat? Is feeding time the new playtime? About 10 years ago, we found that mealtime had turned into an Olympic race, which wasn't great for digestion. After some research, we discovered slow feeders, but let's just say their cats weren't too happy. Over time, they became pros at picking out kibble, and after their quick learning impressed us, we started experimenting with other feeders. So at this point, you're probably wondering, well, what's the difference between a slow feeder and a puzzle feeder? Well, apparently not even the manufacturers know. For us, they're essentially the same, but are categorized separately based on their level of difficulty. So slow feeders are like extremely easy puzzles that any cat can manage, but they're designed more to slow down eating and aid digestion, whereas puzzle feeders come in a variety of different levels. Like slow feeders, they serve the same purpose, but a greater focus on combining food with a challenge. The more difficult puzzles emphasize problem solving over food itself. Now, all these feeders prevent boredom by turning their daily food routine into an engaging treasure hunt. And critically, you do not need to be around whilst they're off solving their puzzles. So it's another solid contribution to that 60-minute target.
Now, puzzle feeders are great, but we should also look at other cat toys to contribute. Unfortunately, owners often waste too much money on toys their cats won't enjoy. We've been reviewing cat toys and created a toy comparison chart to make things easier. We've categorised toys into 3 groups: interactive and activity, comfort and scent, and puzzle and cognitive. Since every cat is unique, there's no one-size-fits-all solution, but a good mix of self-play toys from those categories can give your cats a well-rounded playtime experience. Scatter ping pong balls, springs and finger traps throughout your home to pique their interest. Other cat toys, like the Catit PIXI spinner, auto-activates when nudged, but as it fails to attract our cats, we place it in areas they'll likely walk past. Once activated, they'll play with it for a few minutes. Meow bananas, cat kickers, and even the Catit groovy fish can be filled with catnip and are perfect for attracting your cat's attention for a good bucking session. Our cats also adore their activity rug. Its cosy den-like qualities offers comfort, and they just can't resist a bit of mischief by bonking their siblings through the holes. Similar to the PIXI spinner, place these toys around your home before you head out to ignite your cat's curiosity. Some will catch their eye with movement, whilst others will be just too tempting to resist. Just like that full glass perched on the edge of the table they just can't seem to keep their paws off.
Tech is everywhere these days. Healthy watches, tablets, AI, robot vacuum cleaners, you name it. But here's a fun twist. What if you could sprinkle some of that tech magic into your cat's world too? Imagine this. You're in the middle of a really important Teams meeting. Yeah, that one you've been preparing for all week. Just as you unmute, you hear it, the crash and bang of something valuable hitting the floor. Naturally, it's your cat. They are bored and want your attention. Does that sound familiar? Cats are very much like your home boss, expecting to be entertained on their schedule, not yours. But what if I told you there's a way to keep your little boss satisfied, even when you're busy conquering the world? Now, there's a ton of tech out there that can transform your cat's world, but here are 3 of our favorites. 1. YouTube has a whole collection of videos that are just made for cats. Think birds chirping, fish swimming, and even mice scurrying all over the shop. It's a little bit like a good Netflix binge, but cat style. We found that Burger King has varied content that our 3 love watching, especially when we need to keep them out of trouble for a bit. 2. There's a whole range of interactive cat apps designed to engage your cat. These games let them chase virtual mice or bat fish swimming across the screen. Our cats go wild for their things that dart around and disappear, though you might want to keep an eye out for curious teeth making contact with your screen, Oreo. I know some of you might worry that cats get frustrated by interactions they can't physically catch. But contrary to popular belief, they don't hate it. In the wild, cats don't always succeed in catching their prey, so this type of play, whether through apps or TV, provides great mental stimulation. Of course, it should be balanced with other types of play. Like with most things, moderation is key. 3. Now, if you really want to blow your cat's mind, there's even robots. Seriously, robot cat toys are the future and we're here for it. On a recent holiday, we couldn't stand the idea of not interacting with our cats. That's when we discovered this amazing little robot. It lets us see through our phones, talk to them, and even follow them around as they move around the house. Even now, our holiday's a distant memory. Whenever we are pulled into the office, we take control of this little robot remotely, and it never fails. Within seconds, they're running to it, tapping it, and staring at amazement as we chat away to them. It helps keep them entertained when we're away, though honestly, I think we might enjoy it a little bit more than they do. These 8 cheat codes will help you hit those 60 minutes of play. But did you know how critical playtime is to your cat's physical and mental health? In this video here, we explain why that is and also how it affects your relationship with your cat. Go and check this video out to find out why. Don't forget to sub and like the video. Thank you for watching and see you soon.